What is going on, y'all? It is your girl, Biola Akani, back with a new YouTube video. What is going on, yogis? Happy New Year, happy 2023. I hope y'all are feeling really good in your life and body. As we move into 2023, I'm going to be focused on sharing more educational videos for those of you who are yogis looking to deepen your practice, or those of you who are already yoga instructors and or space holders looking to expand your offerings. So for today, we're going to be discussing the 8 limbs of yoga. Now, this is going to be part of a series that I'm going to be sharing within my non-performative yoga education playlist, so you can find these videos there. But I'll start with breaking down on a basic level the 8 limbs of yoga, and then the following videos will be more about going in depth on each of those limbs. Now, the reason why I wanted to share more about the 8 limbs is y'all know that I'm all about non-performative yoga, and that's the exploration of the practice beyond the poses. So I want to provide this education for those of you who are looking to learn a little bit more beyond the physical postures, and mainly because the physical postures are just one of the 8 limbs. And so if the 8 limbs were a pie, asana, or the physical postures, would be a small piece of that pie. So it's really important to explore the other aspects of the practice as well, so that we can have a fully rounded experience with the practice of yoga and what it offers. Now, before we get into it, let's start to explore what exactly are these damn 8 limbs that we keep hearing about. So the 8 limbs of yoga are basically ancient principles, or more so guidelines, to help us explore liberation, and tools to help eliminate personal suffering. They were created almost 500,000 years ago by an Indian sage by the name of Patanjali. Specifically, they were created in 500 BC, roughly around there, and they were part of something called the Yoga Sutras, which are an even beefier version of the 8 limbs. The Yoga Sutras house very specific scriptures as to how one can explore yogic living through the expansion of consciousness, understanding the conscious mind, and becoming more aware of what it means to integrate or yoke the mind and body, which is what yoga actually means. Now, I have the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali here, and within those Yoga Sutras are the 8 limbs of Patanjali. If you're wanting to learn more about the Yoga Sutras, or even the 8 limbs, this is a good book to start with. It is by Chip Hartroft. I think that's how you say his name. However, I will say that this is dense in terms of the concepts. So this is not a read that you run through very quickly. It's something that you ingest and take in bit by bit, piece by piece, and really allow the readings to resonate with you one piece at a time, because the concepts are so expansive. I've had this book for several years and I've still never read through the entire thing. I read through chapters and let the information and the concepts sit and expand in my body before I move on. So that's what I definitely encourage for you as well. So let's go ahead and go into the 8 limbs. Once again, this is going to be just a basic video where I'm listing those 8 limbs, and in the following videos, I'll break them down more specifically one by one. Now, within the 8 limbs are the yamas and the niyamas, and those are the first 2 limbs, and within them are a number of terms and concepts. The yamas are seen as social ethics, the social ethics of yoga, or things that we might want to avoid doing. Within the yamas is the first term, ahimsa, which means non-violence or non-harm. The second term within the yamas is satya, which means truthfulness. The third term within the yamas is asteya, which means non-stealing. The fourth term within the yamas is brahmacharya, which means moderation. And the fifth term within the yamas is aparigraha, which means non-grasping, non-clinging, or non-covetedness. Now moving on to the niyamas, which are the second limb, and they're also seen as the personal practices of yoga, things that we do want to be mindful of doing more of. The first term within the niyamas is saucha, which is purity or cleanliness. The second term within the niyamas is santosha, which means contentment. The third term within the niyamas is tapas, which means discipline, or also heat. The fourth term within the niyamas is savadhyaya, which means self-study. And the fifth term within the niyamas is ishvari pranidhana, which means devotion or surrender. Now y'all know Sanskrit scholar. If I'm butchering the Sanskrit, y'all don't come for me. Don't come for me, okay? Moving on. Now the third limb of the 8 limbs is asana. That's what we know as the physical postures, the things that we're constantly doing with our bodies, the physical poses that we see all the time on social media or popularized through Western fitness and commercial yoga. The fourth limb of the 8 limbs is pranayama, which is translated as life force. It's also known as breath work, the life force within the body, which is the breath. The fifth limb within the 8 limbs is pratyahara, which means withdrawal of the senses. The sixth limb within the 8 limbs is dharana, which means single-pointed focus or concentration. The seventh limb within the 8 limbs is meditation. And the eighth limb within the 8 limbs is samadhi, or bliss, really contacting the bliss body. And those are the 8 limbs of yoga that are really helping us ultimately integrate the mind and body. The term yoga means to yoke or unite the mind and body, the integration of the mind and body. And the 8 limbs are the tools or the principles that are allowing us to begin to do that. Once again, asana, or the physical poses, is just one of the 8 limbs, right? And so we really want to look at yoga as this expansive science and not just correlated only to the physical postures, because then we're not really experiencing the full benefits. In the next few videos that I do, I'll start to break down each of these terms a little bit more in-depthly and discuss how we can specifically begin to embody them in our physical asana practice, but also in the other aspects of the practice, so that we can explore these terms in our life and in our body, so on and off of the mat. Before you go, if you are a yogi and you've been with me here on YouTube for some time, if you're a space holder and you're really committed to exploring the practice of yoga beyond the postures, you're ready to make that commitment of exploring and expanding your personal practice and becoming a more mindful space holder, I encourage you to apply for my yoga teacher training, for my 200-hour yoga teacher training, iyaKIN. We're currently accepting applications for our 4th cohort beginning March 2nd. Click the link below to apply, and I look forward to reading y'all's application. In the meantime, don't forget to follow your girl on the gram at Yoga by Biola, and don't forget to follow Iya at iya.well on Instagram too. I will see y'all very soon. Continue to be well, y'all.